Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jemma's Window for January 2020. Wow. If you have done the calculations in the calculation box below, or followed the calculations that's on my website, gemmaswindow@gmail.com, and you have concluded that you are a power year number 5, then you are at the right place. So fives, let's talk about and refresh our memories about what that means. What does it mean to have 5 around you and be a power year number 5? The biggest word I think that describes 5 is change. And it can be expected change and it can be unexpected change. So if you can put yourself into the frame of mind of going with the flow. 5 has this jack of all trades, master of none kind of feel to it, and you may just find being given a lot of options, and it's your challenge this year to be able to say no, I can't do all of those things. I'm going to focus on just a couple of them. 5 is, now when you have changes, when we're talking about changes, 5 might be the year you decide to change where you live, to change partners, to just change your hair. It's an explosive month that can be very adventurous, can be a little bit dramatic. 5 does represent adventure and travel, and it also is a great month for for communication. So if you're a writer, or you've decided to go to therapy, or you are a therapist and you want to make changes, maybe by opening your own practice or giving up your own practice and working for somebody else. There's a lot about the written word and the spoken word when it comes to the year of 5. Now, in this reading today, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to start with business, we're going to move to love and relationships, and then we're going to move to any question that you have about your life, and what's the best we can expect in this month of January. Now, if you're a year of 5, that means that the month of January for you is the month of 6. 6 is it's a more stable number, and it represents warm and fuzzy. It represents making a relationship concrete or letting it go. But I feel like, any romantic month, 6 is the most romantic month out of the year for you. And I feel like any romantic month, there's the option of breaking up. But I'm not being, I don't mean to just be a cockeyed optimist. I really do feel that it's a positive thing, even if you did that. Even if you decided that that's the route you wanted to go. I feel like 6 is a positive number for romance. It's also about domestication and home and hearth and where you live. It has a lot to do with, do I want to stay living where I live? Do I want to redecorate it? Am I finally going to make a decision to relocate? It may not happen in this month, and it may. The other thing about 6 is responsibility. It can be that you feel in this month that there's so much responsibility on your shoulders that you're just going to explode if it doesn't change. Or you might say, I'm going to take on more responsibility in one way, shape, or form, because I haven't been holding up my end of the bargain. And now I do want to dedicate more time to whatever in your life. So I do have a couple of special days here picked out for you that I like to give you at the beginning of the reading. And if you'd like to jot them down, You can do that, or you can just come back and refer to them at another time when you need them. Let's start, fives, with what are the most romantic days of your month in this month of January? And those are going to be January 9th, January 18th, and January 27th. Now, days where it's a good idea at work to pitch an idea that you have, or to actually put out an application for a job, or to have an interview. Good days just for getting your ducks in a row and making concrete decisions. Those days for you will be January 7th, January 16th, and January 23rd. Days for endings. Now, this can be a day where you end something yourself, or something will spiral and finally wrap up for you. And I know from being in certain positions in my life that an ending doesn't mean somebody dies. An ending doesn't have to mean a breakup. An ending can be of something that's been bothering you in the world of relationship, in the world of things that happen to you, in the way of health. So endings can be very good things. That's why I like to add it in. Those days will be January 3rd, January 12th, January 21st, and January 30th. So you have 4 days of endings there. Okay, let's move on to the cards. Just move that out of the way. Now I know I won't forget to give those days to you. And I'm going to shuffle the cards that are in front of me. And we're going to take a look at those of you who are working, those of you fives who are currently working. We want to take a look at what's the perception of you. I beg your pardon, because I just dropped a couple of cards. That means they're important for you to hear about. So, okay. I want to know, what is the perception from people you work for? What is the perception of you by other employees or people you work with? Whoever you'd like to know, I'd like to know the general perception of you at work, and what's the best that we can expect for you this month of January in the workplace. These are really nice, and if I drop, and I have 7 cards go flying, I don't look at them, but I dropped 2, and therefore I looked at them, and they're excellent cards, and I feel like this is what you're going to feel for the month of January if you're a 5. You are being watched, and you are being watched carefully for promotion, very carefully for promotion. As far as you're concerned, you know it. You know you'd be right for it. You know you'd be perfect for it, and you're wondering, or you're thinking, I'm not saying that you're cocky. I think that you're looking at yourself, trying to look at yourself objectively and say, well, I am doing this, and this, and it seems to me that I'm doing very well. And when I look around me and who I'm working with too, maybe I feel like I'm doing a little bit more than they are. And I feel like you're being perceived as that. And yet, in this month of January, it's not quite there yet. So that promotion you've been waiting for, or that raise you've been waiting for, if indeed that does come to fruition, it's not as much as you thought, or as good as you thought it was going to be. If it doesn't come at all, and that's an option, it just simply means that you're on your way, but you just haven't, it hasn't come into fruition yet. It hasn't come into the budget yet. Maybe somebody else has seniority and has to be given something ahead of you, and you have to wait. But you are definitely in line for nice changes in the workplace and being given that more responsibility, which is that month of 6. So do try to hang in there and understand that it's coming. The cards are very, very good, but it may not come into full swing yet. Let's shuffle the cards for those of you fives who are looking for work in this month of January 2020. And let's take a look at what the cards have to say about you getting that new position that you'd like. Okay, what I have here, and this is validation for those of you who have done this already, and this is a suggestion for those of you who feel like, well, I've been doing, and why isn't anything happening? I feel like what the cards are suggesting, if you're looking for work, is thinking outside of the box and applying for things outside of the box, talking to people who might be able to help you outside of the box. And if you don't understand that, or it doesn't resonate completely with you, maybe it's just simply talking to who you're supposed to talk to. Because my 6 of Pentacles card, Pentacles, of course, is about, your tangible wealth or something that you can touch. And my 6 of Pentacles card is you bent down to the person who has the power and really laying it on the line with them and explaining what you're looking for and what you want. The card before that is my Ace of Swords card, which is my lady who is, she's tearing through the thicket with her sword. She's trying to begin something new. She's working really hard. She's questioning whether it's worth it or not. Am I even in the right place? Am I even in the right field? But the upshot is that when she finally gets to the other side of the field after cutting through the reeds or weeds, she finds a situation that's even better than she had anticipated it was going to be. So the thoughts that you're having that maybe are a little bit different, the people that you're reaching out to that maybe are a bit out of your comfort zone, the career that you're looking at or job changes that you would like, if you're not working or even if you are, putting it out there and making it solid and making it clear of who you are, what you can offer, and what you want is the way for you to go in this month of January. And that includes being proud of the accolades that you have, being proud of the certifications or degrees or experience or just good old common sense or reliability. Being proud of those things and putting them out there is going to make a difference for you this month. What's coming into being is my Justice card. So on one hand, for anybody who is looking for anything in the legal field or for a government job, it's obviously it's being spotlighted for you. That's awesome, and it should come into fruition for you, and you should be feeling positive about that placement this month in January. The Justice card can also mean that when the dust settles, everything falls into place as it should be. So your work is going to be rewarded, or your thought process or your attempts at making something work are going to come into being and recognized in this month of January. So it looks pretty good. It looks good for you, for those of you who are looking for work or even a change within the workplace that you're currently maybe employed or laid off from, something like that. But you know how things apply to you. let's move on to relationships. Okay, so for relationships in this month of January, this is a heavy duty month. 6 is your most romantic number out of the year, which means this is going to be a very, or can be, a very important month when it comes to your relationships. So we're going to ask in reference to love, but you might ask about a different relationship when we get to the next segment, which is what's the best outcome of anything you'd like to know. So let's pull cards now for those of us who are 5s and are in a relationship and are wondering, how's it going? Where are we going? What's the status? Very interesting. Wow. What's this going on? Well, what I have is the best that can happen is I have that it's the commitment card, it's the proposal card, so that I feel like a proposal could be coming or an offer could be coming, a very interesting offer to be a couple with someone or to make your relationship more concrete. You're in a relationship. That's who we're reading for. We're reading for 5s who are in romantic relationships. And yet, there's a fickleness here going on. It's like once you find out that this person is that interested in you, I don't know what it is. It's like suddenly you need more time. Suddenly you're not quite sure if this is what you really wanted, but you did want to know how the other person felt. If you're married and you're listening to this, then I would suggest that where things were all gung-ho, I feel like you, maybe your partner, kind of peter off, kind of become detached, kind of get involved, like, oh, we were going to spend more time together, or we were going to redecorate the house together, or we were going to take up golf together, whatever it is. And then suddenly there's this slacking off kind of thing of, well, we'll get back to that. So it's like it starts off like gangbusters for you if you're in a relationship where, yes, it's finally happening. It's going to happen. So-and-so has proposed to me and now we can't come up with a date for the wedding. And the only one we can seem to, agree on is 2 years from now. So it's like you kind of hit a wall. You're going in the right direction, but you kind of hit a wall. Okay. Just sometimes just hearing that from an outside source validates to you, yep, that's what I thought. That's what I was feeling. Why do I feel like suddenly we're not on the same page anymore? Because it's just the evolution of the relationship, and every month it's going to change. But the very good cards, the very strong cards that I have for you are that you are in a solid situation. It's just that, oops, I need a teensy-weensy break because I have a business trip that's going to take me a month out of town. We'll get back to that. Okay, 5s, it's not so bad. It's not so bad at all. It's just a little fickle. Let's take a look at our 5s who are looking for a relationship. Looking to rekindle a relationship. And when you're looking about reconciliation or rekindling, you can listen to both of the readings and take what works for you out of there. I'll explain further as we go. Okay, let's pull some cards for those of you looking for a relationship. And here I have something that's very, very similar. There's this fickleness here. I have the reuniting at love card or second chance at love card, and I have that if you are looking for love, that you're going to have another chance coming into being in January for that. Or if you're looking for someone to come back or to touch, for you to reach out to them and hoping that they'll respond, yes, there is every chance in the world for you to entertain that thought in this month of January, your romantic month of the year. However, again, it's hitting a wall of fickleness where it seems to go right back into the same patterns that weren't exactly what you wanted yet again. Whether it's with a new person in your following, you're finding the same pattern where they start off all like, yes, I've missed you, and oh my God, let's get together, and then you don't hear from them. Or someone responds to you, they're great, you're talking to them on the computer or an app, and so many people do that these days. That's why it's a good example to use. And this person is so into you, and then all of a sudden they fall off the face of the earth, and you have no idea where they are. And what I have is that there are problems that are being worked out behind the scenes that you may not be privy to, that you may not know exactly what they are. And maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you are told what the problems are, or maybe some of you recognize the same problems because your issue is about trying to make it work again with someone who promised that things were going to be different this time, or you promised that you were going to do things different this time, and yet they start falling into old habits. So it's just generally for you fives, it's a fickle month when it comes to love. There is the feeling of love around you. There is not the feeling that you're meant not to have it around you. But it's just like stop and go, stop and go. I thought we had solved that, and we're back in the thick of it again. Fives, for our last segment here, if you would, think of any question you'd like. And it might be about romance or work again, and that's perfectly fine. It might be about something completely different. So I'm shuffling the cards now, and the more specific your question is, I tell my clients, the more specific your question is, the more specific my answer is to you. And you can tweak my words to fit your question. Just don't change the outcome. Let's take a look at what's the best that fives can expect for whatever is on their mind in this glorious month of January 2020. So I find you dissatisfied. You're dissatisfied about something. And I feel like you've really given it your all, or you feel you've really given it your best. You may even feel that the other party has done their end of the work as well, and yet it's just not quite there yet, or it's not, the offer hasn't come in yet, or if it has, you're still not quite sure if it's the right thing for you that you want. And what's coming into being is my Four of Cups card, and it means that there's a delay in a final outcome, and that there are many people putting their hands into your cookie jars. And so you're getting a lot of outside advice, and this isn't from people who don't have your best interest at heart. It actually is from people who do care about you. But I want to throw in there that, say it's a job, even your boss is getting outside information and outside comments and outside help that is confusing the situation and just delaying it and slowing it down to get that favorable outcome that you would like. There seem to be a lot of opinions and a lot of holdups to get to that final outcome. So I just feel like we're not doing a private reading right now, and I would have to know what that situation is to dissect it for you. We're doing a general reading right now for fives, and I'm going to leave it at that it looks to me that the month of January for you fives is whatever is in your mind that you're waiting for a conclusion about this. It doesn't look like the month of conclusions for you. So just to hang in there. But very ironically, the whole reading seems to be about you being on the path of getting what you want. It just doesn't seem to be the month of wrapping it up for you. I want to thank you so much, Fives, for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you. And like I said, I have a website, gemmaswindow@gmail.com, if you'd like to get in touch with me personally or read more about me. But until next month, in February, Fives, when you will be in the month of 7, we shall meet again. Thanks so much, Fives. Bye for now.